Okay, welcome everybody to the first video. Welcome to my first Kingdom Keep video. I want to welcome you to this. This is going to be a whole interesting new thing here. I'm going to go and try to put my connections to the older game, Legend of Forsena, with the new game, The Legend of Runersia, for Brigandine, which is coming out on Switch pretty soon here. I think it's June 25th. That'll be coming out. We'll all get to play it. So yeah, welcome to Kingdom Keep, everybody. I want to welcome you to this, and I hope we can have a good time here today. Let's talk about the kingdoms, and let's talk about like what what they're like, and who they could connect to, and all that sort of stuff. I'm doing Kingdom Cast videos too as to who I think some of these characters are connected to in a sense, in a way. But what this is going to basically talk about is all the individual kingdoms. So we're going to be talking about the kingdom of Norzalio, which the capital's right here. You can see it's right there, right there. See it? Right there. So anyways, we're going to talk about that. King Norzalio's there. The kingdom of the Republic of Guamol is here. The capital, the capital of the Shinobi Tribe is here. The capital of Mana Silesia Theocracy is here. Capital of Morelva is here, and the capital of the Holy Gustava Empire is right here. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. We're going to talk about it and see what it's very similar and what it's like. So let's go ahead and read the producer letter, because I was going to title this producer letter, but this seems to be a little more detailed and a little more fleshed out than that. So we're just going to make a new series for this because I feel it probably kind of needs that. So we're going to go ahead and talk about this letter here. We're going to have some fun with this. So this is the letter from the producer, number 5, Nation-Based Strategic Difficulty, Part 1. So let's read a little bit about this, and I will try to help connect the kingdoms with the older kingdoms, and we'll go from there. If you have any questions or anything like that, please leave it in the comments below. Let me know what you think is the nation that came from the previous nation. Let me know if you agree with me or you disagree with me. That's totally fine, but I'm going to give you my connection points here, and I'm going to try to point it out. So let's talk about this. All right. Okay. Hello. I'm Igarashi, the producer of Brigandine, The Legend of Runersia. Just outline that. In my first and second letters, I briefly touched on difficulty selection at the start of the game. In this letter, I would like to go into more detail. There are 6 powers, countries, in Runersia. Players will choose one with which to conquer the continent. The question is, which country should you choose? Many will likely base their choice on the beliefs and characteristics of the country and its ruler. Keep in mind, there is actually an additional layer of strategic difficulty depending on the country you pick. In short, the game's difficulty can be said to consist of the following. All right, let me scroll here. Yeah, we'll look at this. Okay. Yeah, let's scroll down and read the rest of it here. The game mode difficulty: easy, normal, or hard. Strategic difficulty based on chosen nation. These are the two main factors that determine how difficult the game will be. I'd like to share with all of you some valuable insights from our lead game designer, Mr. Tasaku Ito, about how the strategic difficulty changes based on the country. How the strategic difficulty changes based on the country you chose. All right, let's roll down here. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, let's do that. So yeah, this is going to be a fun thing. We'll get to figure out what's what, and what's like what, and all that. All right, so hello, and thanks for reading. I'm Ito, lead game designer for Brigandine, Legend of Runersia. I'll be providing you some key points about what nation-based strategic difficulty means. I hope this information comes in handy when you're starting your own playthrough. First, take a look at this map of Runersia and the power relationship at the start of the game. Nation-based strategic difficulty, Part 1. Rosalio Kingdom, Republic of Gomol, and a Shinobi Tribe. Alright, so we're going to be reading about Part 1 of an Rosalio Kingdom here. I'm going to put my connections together, and we'll talk about it. So it says right up at the top here, it says difficulty 1 out of 3 stars. So it's relatively easy to play as this country if you want to play as a country to start. What else does it say? It starts with 5 total bases, 2 of which are frontline bases, located in the northwest corner of Runersia. Runersia borders only 2 other countries, Gomol and Gustafa, with only 2 frontline bases adjacent to the enemy base. It's easy to attack and defend. Highly recommended for first-time strategy game players. Alright. Rune Knights. Plenty of solid battle units like Paladin. Let me highlight some of this here so you can kind of see this. Like Paladin, Grados, and Saint Jew, who can use recovery magic. You'll need to keep an eye on the younger, less experienced knights like Ruler, Rubino, Elena, and Pick. Just go ahead and highlight all that part there too. Train them well, and it'll become great assets to the Rosalio war effort. The quickest way to continental conquest is to train the older and younger knights together. So this is a part of the strategy that will work for this. Letting the older ones support the younger. So, according to the wording here, and according to the castle and position and what it's talking about, this relates very heavily to Leonia. Okay? So this is going to be like playing as Leonia in a new game. Now, I know there's other options out there, and I know some people might have, some opinions, but this is what I feel this is very much like, and I'll explain why. So if we look at Leonia, and I could pull up a picture, but I think it's probably easy if I just draw this out as a little diagram. Don't mind my not perfect drawing here, but I'm just kind of giving you a little. It's got this little dragon base here. It's interesting. All right, so it looks like this. You have a castle up here. You got a little Damas castle there. Got little Killons over here. You've got Whistland here, or where they're Whistland Dixie. You've got the capital Thala here, and you've got Gloom down here, and you've got Hadrian here. So according to the original game, you've got castle connections like this. This is how they connect to each other, and this is kind of what it's all about. So then you've got this leading outward, this one leading outward into the other enemy territory. So very much like this, you've got this castle that's bordering enemy territory here. You got this castle that's bordering enemy territory here for Rosalio. And for here, what we have with the old original game is we've got this castle of Damas, and this castle of Hadrian bordering enemy territory. So what we have is very similar in that perspective. Now, I know that it doesn't look exactly the same. It's not really so much the point. What I'm trying to do with this Kingdom Keep video here is that I'm going to basically just describe like what their knights are like, what the majority of their knights are like, and how you might want to play it. So you might want to look at this like the new Leoness. This is how I feel this is, because this does talk about solid battle units like a Paladin, Grados, Saint Jew. Saint Jew is a healer. She's a saint class who use recovery magic. You need to keep an eye on the less experienced knights like Ruler, Rubino, Elena, and Pick. So Rubino is probably going to be very low leveled, kind of like a Leoness character too. So this seems to kind of like point that out right there. And so, you know, also it says at the end, train older and younger knights together, letting the older ones support the younger. So basically it's kind of like you play with Leoness. You don't field a whole team of really weak knights, because you can. It's just a really big challenge because it's kind of hard to do that. And typically when you're playing a game, you want to take your best knights against the enemy's best knights. That's usually what you want to do. But you can try it any way you want. But this is really kind of pointing out to me Leoness here. So this is like, as far as the Kingdom cast videos I'm doing, you know, I think some of that could be like different as far as story-wise. But as far as battle-wise, this seems to kind of point out a Leoness-like territory. And unironically, it's also blue as well. So it seems like a lot of the countries might end up being like the same colors they were before. So that's kind of what I wanted to say about this. So I think this is like a Leonia. This is like a Leonia country here. And this is what I really do heavily believe. This is very much like the case. Leonia had a very defensive area. They were in an area that was, you know, it was hard. It wasn't really hard to get to, but they had 2 castles to defend from, and they had a very low. They had like 3 knights that were decent in the front line right off the bat. You've got Paternus, you've got Isiphus, and you've got Charlene. Now Paternus is a cardinal. Isiphus was a almost a guardian. He was in the monk class. So guardian's also healer, part of healer, and then Charlene is a lancer. So she throws spears, but you know she can cast ward, and she's a little more on the defensive side of a tanky knight, the female class of that. So what you're going to have here with healers and all that, this is just looking very, very much like a Leoness character. Not a character, but a Leoness country, as far as like the way the knights are going to be, the way you might want to play it. You might want to look at this a little more like that. This is my recommendation. This is what I think is very likely the case. So if you got any questions or whatever, leave it in the comments down below. Let's move on to the next country on the list here, and let's see what they have to, you know, let's see what it's all about. So let's go ahead here and do that. I'm gonna just go ahead and erase this here. So let's move on down the line and see what's next, okay? So, all right, the Republic of Guimol. Difficulty of 2 stars. Okay, so the 2-star difficulty is going to be a little more difficult than the Kingdom of Norzalia. So it's going to be a little more difficult there. It starts with 3 total bases, 3 of which are from our frontline bases. Guimol starts as a large nation, second in size only to Mana Silesia. Its larger size, however, means more frontline bases. Guimol starts with 3. Players who choose this nation will need to decide which bases to defend and which of the 3 bordering bases to attack first. Alright, so Rune Knights. The nation is well balanced with various classes, the key knights being the ruler Elza, Mua, and Darien. It's strategically more difficult than Norzalio, but with more options for troops, with troop organization early on. Alright, now this is kind of a, this one's a little bit of a tough call in a sense. I'm going to go ahead and put up this other map here and we can kind of like talk about this. So this is going to be a little more interesting to see and probably try to understand. Now, I've had a hard time trying to put, you know, connect the dots with some of these things, because some of these things are, I mean, they're not exactly the same. We're not going to have an exact same game that we had with the old Brigandine game. But what I would have to say for this is, because there's a lot of well-balanced knights and there's a lot of stuff going on with that, I would have to say that this probably represents like a New Mechia here. And I'm going to go ahead and just try to discuss why I think so, because of what I think in comparison to a lot of the other countries here. A lot of the other countries kind of show off very similar aspects towards the older game of Legend of Forsena. So I'm just pointing out here that there's 3 places to defend from. Very much in a Nuomekian style, you have 3 bases to defend from if you are not allied with Caerleon. You have 3 bases to defend from here. You have 3 bases to defend from there. There are connections that way. So let's turn this off, and then we'll just kind of talk about this, okay? So let's do that. All right, so what I wanted to talk about here is that what it says here is that well balanced with various classes. This is important, and this is very important to understand because there are some countries in Brigandine that have very well balanced knights and a lot of different classes, and one of them is Nuomekia. And so Nuomekia is strategically more difficult than Orzalio in the old version of Brigandine, which was the Legend of Forsena. It is a very difficult... If you play Nuomekia without an alliance, it is hard. It's hard. It's not an easy country to play as. I'll give you a little sketch of it so you can see it. You can also go check out other pictures and videos. There's lots of videos. I've done a lot of videos too. It's just this little... I'm having a hard time doing this. I'm having a hard time doing this, so I hope you're enjoying. But all right, so that's kind of the land base, and Nuomekia is on the west coast of the continent in Legend of Forsena there, and so we've got this little castle up here of Garul. We've got Camel Ford or Camel Fort, whichever floats your boat. We have Fazard here. We've got Calamari here, which is the capital. I'll draw that a little bigger. And then we've got Baden Hill down here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 castles, right? Now, Republic of Gomol has, I think they have more. Let me draw the what this can do. So there are these many different attacking ways to go. So if we look here, we've got 1, 2, 3, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3 defense points. Right here, here, and here. And this one can go out to 2 ways. This one can go out to 1 way. This one can go out to 2 ways. So got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the newer version of this game consists of a little more options as far as to attack from this in the Republic of Gomol here. So there's a little more options, but in Nuomekia there isn't. There's just 1 less. I'm just going to draw a new A, but maybe I'll draw Nuomekia. But here's the thing. So don't mind my... If I was doing this with a pen, I could do this a lot better. It's a little hard with the mouse. New L. Nuomekia. Yeah, I'm not very proficient doing this sort of stuff, but I hope you can read this. Let me know if you can. But here's my understanding. So you've got Elza. You've got Muva, you've got Darien. So I'm thinking Elza's going to be like a lance. She's going to be a mixture of offense and some magic mixed in there probably. She's got a magic sword. So maybe she can do bolt attacks like Lance could or something like that. It could be something like that. We'll have to see. And you've got a various balance of knights. Nuomekia had just a huge list of various knights. They had a samurai, they had a very powerful lancer, they've got the mage class, they've got the healer, they've got really good healer class, they've got an archer, they've got an avenger, they have a grappler that could turn into a champion. I mean, Nuomekia had various well-balanced knights. This one does too. So I'm going to go ahead and point this, that this is the new Olmecchia. As far as playing the game goes, now storyline, we can talk about that. I've made some videos about the storyline and all that. We can talk about that. But as far as playing the game goes, this seems very likely to be like the new Olmecchia. So this is why I'm putting this here, and this is why I'm saying this, because new Olmecchia was well balanced and had various knights. And Elsa is a very special knight. She's a rose knight, so I think she has like a sword with magic infused in it. Lance, you know, he could get up to Genoflame, or I think it's it's Genobolt or Genoflame. I think it depends on the version. But he can like level up to that, become king. You know, he's like a very interesting kind of character. Like, he starts off low, so maybe Elsa might start off low too, but they might have like very high level knights and very low level knights, and a lot of various balance. So I wonder if you kind of see where I'm coming from. I'm gonna move on to the next country now, and talk about their keeps and all that, and we'll kind of move on from there. But you can see that it does look kind of similar. So I get this whole new Olmecchian vibe as far as like how to play as them. So if you're like, if your favorite country was New Olmecchia beforehand, you might really like to start as the Republic of Guatemala. This is kind of what I'm getting to, and this is what I'm saying. So let's move on to the new one, and the next one, which is the Shinobi Tribe down here. And let's talk about them. So I'll go ahead and clear this again. We'll move up, and we shall talk about them. So this one's going to be interesting because I might have to actually include some other material in here to help me with this one too. So the Shinobi Tribe difficulty is 1. Now, so the Shinobi Tribe difficulty is 1. And what I'm going to say too is that Caerleon also had a 1 rating, I believe. I think I remember that's true. You can also check out, if you want to see the manual for the game, join the engine site, the Brigandine community engine site, and go ahead and make some discussions in there. Please go ahead and, you know, chat it up and talk about whatever, you know, create some of your own forums, you know, share your own information and all that. And you will find that manual in the gallery of the website. So this is telling me here, the Shinobi Tribe, let's talk about this, starts with 5 total bases, 2 of which are frontline bases. The tribe's small territory is located in a natural fortress of mountains and forest that protects them. With only 2 bases open to enemy attacks, players are able to dispatch more idle knights on quests. So they can just throw everybody to quests. This might be a little key here too. In line with the Shinobi Tribe's story, this nation's true challenge is switching from defense offense. I wonder what's like that in the original Brigandine game. Let's discuss. Let's talk about that. So, alright, Rune Knights. With units like Ruler Talia and Healer Medessa, who excel in recovery magic, this nation is built for defense. Okay, built for defense. That's a key part. Swordsman Sid. I'm going to say, I guess I'm just going to say Jose for this. Jose and Bazoo Knight. Toby's preferred terrain is forest. So preferred terrain is forest. Since the Shinobi Tribe has many bases in forested areas, this boasts the nation's combat power even further on home turf. So there is going to be natural protections because of the forest. So it's likely they're going to get mandrakes, right? Or something that helps with the forest. Maybe a lot of evasion creatures that are good in the forest. There'll be a lot of forest there. For their creatures to be very good on defense. Right? It does say the ruler Talia and healer Medessa excel at recovering magic. But also what this website says that it doesn't really cover here is it says that the Shinobi Tribe does have a background in black magic. And so there's assassins and black magic, so this country's going to be filled with magic. I think they might have missed the point of the whole black magic part. We can go into the website a little bit and I can kind of cover that. here. So I think I'll go ahead and do that. But let's turn this off here, and we'll go do that, because I think that's important to showcase, because I think if we don't showcase that, we're gonna it's gonna be difficult, because my point is that I'm trying to connect, you know, who to who as far as like which country and all that. So let's go to the Shinobi Tribe. All right, so it says in here, occupying the deep fortress, the former Hamlet's nation, the tribe is chosen the path of self-rule by only women. While using shinobi magic to work as spies or mercenaries for other countries to support themselves, they crave the day when they'll be truly free from the influence of major nations. Infused, this wish in the Brigandine passed down from generation to generation in this village of tribe calls itself the Brigandine of Freedom. So freedom and all that sort of stuff kind of just kind of reminds me of Caroleon. And so what I want to do is I want to point out Della, and I think she's kind of key here, because so she's the mother, right? And developed, so it says the Shinobi Tribe, if I can get this to work again, Shinobi Tribe chief known as Mother and the imparter of the unique shinobi magic. Unique, this is a key word here. Unique shinobi magic developed from conventional black magic. So, the mother of the group, she's an assassin, okay? But she's one of the main ones. This talks about their unique shinobi magic, which is developed from conventional black magic. Now, this is very much along Kai's list of abilities. So it seems very likely we're going to get a Caerleon-like aspect here, a Caerleon country. Initially, I was wondering if this is a little more like Escalio because of its position, but it really just starts with a couple, you know, bases. Caerleon only has 2 bases to defend. I'll draw this on a map here. We'll do a little comparison, and we'll talk about this. But this talks about unique, and I want to stress that a lot. Unique shinobi magic. Let me box this off here. Let's do this. But this is kind of unique shinobi magic, right? So it's from conventional black magic, and the only country in the original game of Legend of Forsena that delved into a lot of powerful magic and had a lot of powerful mages was Caerleon. And so if this is the only one that's really talking about black magic, I have to go and throw my I gotta throw my my coins towards Caerleon with this one. So let's turn this off. Let's go back. I'll draw you a map of Caerleon. We'll have some fun with that. And we'll kind of talk about that. So here's the deal. Here's the tricky part. So we're gonna look at Caerleon, and almost unironically, it looks very identical to this. So it's gonna go like that, and I'm trying to draw it. I don't know why the thing stops drawing it sometimes. So we're looking at like this. And this is Caerleon in The Legend of Forsena. Now, I know it's not a perfect drawing, but please bear with me a little bit. As far as mouse artists go, I'm not the best. I'd rather have a pen or a pencil or something. We got Bannock here, and we've got Hervry up here. So we have connection ports here, 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 and here. And so we have attacking ports to go into other countries here, and here, and here. So you see how this looks kind of similar? Like here you've got this castle that can attack this port. You've got this castle that can attack this port or this port. This just looks very much like Caerleon. I know that this one's on like This one over here is on the sort of the southwest, and then this port over here. Oh, let me draw that. This port here is on the north, but even still, I know you're not going to have a very exactly similar castle, but with the black magic involved in there, I know they're just kind of talking about recovery magic, but the ancient black magic that's a part of this nation from the mother of this tribe, which used to be a nation, but now it's a tribe. This feels very much like Caerleon, as far as like what it'll probably be. There'll probably be a decent amount of mages. There'll probably be a decent amount of magic. You might have a lot, maybe you might have more magic. Maybe some of the leaders will be a little different, but this seems very similar to Caerleon. So if you're coming to this game, you're coming to Legend of Runersia, and you're wondering, what is this kind of like, you know? What should I take this as? I would take this country as Caerleon. I'm sure there's going to be some other knights. Talia might be like the Dinadan for this country, maybe. I think Della might be like the Kai character. It could maybe be something like that. But I mean, she is an assassin, so I don't know. It could be a little different, but it seems potential, you know, because like I even made a, you know, I redrew the map, put it in English long ago, and you know, did a printout for it. So that's also a video I got on my channel. But yeah, this seems very much like this is going to be like a Caerleon country, especially when they're talking about black magic. And I'm not really reading a lot about black magic in other countries. And Caerleon, Kai was the best mage in the game. He just was. And, you know, as far as like damage dealing goes, Leoness could probably contend with him, but I don't know how many other knights could really contend with Kai. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that because, you know, as far as like a battle strategy goes, it seems like if you want to play the mage team, this might be your team that you want to play. And so that's my perspective. That's my understanding. If you have any questions or whatever, leave them down below. Let's move on to the next one here. Okay, so let's talk about the next one here. So what we have here is the letters from the producer, number 6. So we're going to talk about this here. So I've already read this, and we'll just continue here. Yeah, this will be a continuation from the last letter. This time focusing on the Holy Gustav Empire and Mana Celestia Theocracy and the United Islands of Morelva. So let's go ahead and read a little bit more here. We will get to all this, and we'll see what to do. So I'm going to get this going here. Yeah, thanks so much, everybody, for being here. That's really awesome. You know, we can kind of get down to the nitty-gritty of what's going on with this. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. I'll show you on a map like what it's about, and then we'll probably try to make a comparison here. So the Holy Gustav Empire, difficulty is 2 out of 3 stars. So difficulty is, you know, kicked up a notch. It's not an easy country. So starts with 6 total bases, 3 of which are frontline bases. Although it occupies a massive territory to the north, each base yields very little mana income. There are 3 frontline bases, 2 of which are connected to multiple enemy bases. Recruit knights through quests and choose an invasion route that allows you to boost the strength as you go. Okay. Rune Knights. Most knights here are built for offense, like Country Ruler Tim, Champion Elson. Bear in mind, however, that this nation starts off with fewer knights than the others. That said, knights and monsters here are well equipped and considered top class on the continent. Unlike the rulers of other countries, Tim does not have a Brigandine, though that's not the only thing that sets him apart from the rest. Intermediate players looking for a challenge may want to choose this country. Alright, so from a battle perspective, let's kind of look at it like this, and let's try to make a comparison here. So now, when I was doing this video on the Holy Gustava Empire, I keep thinking that this is more of a Norgardian country. I just kind of do. I get this whole Norse-like feel, the wolves, you know, especially with the wolf banner, and the way that their knights are kind of like based upon the whole bloodline thing with Brigandine, and you know, like for Norgard it was with Brigandine, she was upset with Vinard, and you know, with this new country of the Holy Gustava Kingdom, there is a bloodline little issue there too. So the only difference I can see with this versus Norgard is that this one has 3 castles to defend right off the bat. It's not as... Norgard had 4. This one has 3. But if we count up the castles, we got 1, 2... You know, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's not as much as Norgard is. The original one, Norgard, has 7, and the Grand Edition has 8, because you get an extra castle because of the multiplayer version, which tries to balance out castles. Although I think Norgard shouldn't have gotten an extra castle, and maybe Ascalio should have, but that's my opinion. So anyways, you have probably 1 less castle than you would for a Norgard country, okay? And you've got very strong knights that are there. Now, that's what I see with this. And so, as far as like where you're going to attack from, you know, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential ways to go. So it makes you get avenues into one country here. So it lets you possibly attack this country. To possibly attack this country, and this country. So you get 4 options of attacking, which Norgard had 3 options to attack, not 4. They had 3 options to attack. So they had a good amount of places to go to, right? So Norgard pretty much had a lot of options to attack right from the north. And this one is also in the north too. So this one seems very much kind of like a Norgard here, from my perspective. So this seems like that's potentially the case here. Let's try to look at a couple of other things and try to kind of see what's going on with that. So I'll turn that off. So according to, like, I'm gonna probably do a rough drawing here, but it says each base yields very little mana income. Okay. Right there, there are 3 frontline bases, 2 of which are connected to multiple enemy territories. Very much like a Norgard too. Recruit knights through quests, and choose an invasion route that allows you to boost your strength as you go. Now here's the thing. The reason I'm saying Norgard is because Norgard can get knights through quests. Ascaris really can't. There's only a few knights that Ascaris in the original game could actually get through quests. And beating up other territories wouldn't really get you a lot of knights. It was very difficult for Ascaris to go out because hardly anybody would go to Ascaris. But you can recruit knights through quests, and Norgard, as you attack, when you start the attack, if you actually do a couple attacks and you get things going, you get 2 knights right away, and if you attack the Empire, you get 3 knights right away, just by attacking and moving out. So you can get those kind of knights. I just kind of feel like that's sort of a similarity there. Most knights are built for offense, right? Like the country ruler Tim and the champion Alson. Okay, bear in mind, however, this nation starts out with fewer knights than the other countries do. That said, knights and monsters here are well equipped and considered top class on the continent. Unlike other rulers of the countries, Tim does not have a Brigandine, though that's the only thing that sets him apart from the rest. Intermediate players looking for a challenge may want to choose this country. So, Norgard was a tough country to start with, and it was difficult too. But I get this whole Norgardian feel here. I know possibly some people might want to say, you know, especially with the Holy Gustav Empire, they might be like, this is an empire, this is the Ascaris Empire. I don't get that feeling. I feel like roles have been a little bit flipped. If you have any ideas, please let me know. But as far as like the way this goes, Ascaris, if I look at Ascaris had way more ports to defend. You know, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had 5 ports to defend right off the start. Norgard had 4, but they had enough knights to place there immediately and to have an immediate defense too. Norgard and Ascaris are very similar as far as like battle goes, so I guess I could see how, you know, there could be maybe a difference of opinion with that, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it because I think that it's Norgard in a strategic sense, and I'm trying to draw it here. I think I messed up, but we'll talk about it. Anyways, I'm going to have to draw this like a little bit. Yeah, this isn't very close to how it's supposed to be. It's kind of like this. There's like a little eagle head up here. So I guess don't mind that. So we got Flagru up here. We got Senadon over here. Got Humber. Got Jukes. Got Cardiff. And depending upon the version, if it's Grand Edition, you get little Solsteam Castle here. So I'll draw it kind of draw like that, so it's a little ghosted out. You got Listenoise and Alrime. I think I drew more than I needed to, but here's the thing. So you've got this going to here or through here, if depending upon which version you play. If you played then that would be Cardiff here, and this is Listenoise. This is going down to Orkney, so this goes out. That goes out. This goes out. Humber goes out. And then we've got this connection port here. And we got here. And so the map design's a little bit different because I'm looking at the Grand Edition version. That's the one I'm kind of just drawing down here. So I got my little map. I can draw it down like this. This is kind of how this goes here. And according to this, it's kind of similar in a sense, right? So you've got one connection port over here with these 2 castles, and going down from Alrime to Garul down to Nuamechia, you got one connection port here too. So, you know, I kind of see that. Nuamechia had a lot of good strong knights. Some people are like, well, they didn't have final tier class knights, but they had a lot of high level knights that were close to it. Morholt, Lewintail, Gwingulin, I think Brangian was along the line. Vinard himself was very high leveled. I think he starts at level 21 or 24. And you got a lot of very high level. It's already talking about Tim is already very powerful. You know, you got the champion Allison. You get a lot of knights that are very close to level 3. And it's not hard to level them up to the final tier. But they're still powerful. Even though they're not 3rd tier, they're still very powerful. And so, plus the fact is, with recruiting knights through quests, Ascaris really can't do that too well. Ascaris, from the Empire Ascaris from Legend of Forsena, couldn't really do that as well as the other countries could. And so here, you know, each base yields very little mana income. I know Flagru here, the Keep Flagru, was a very high income mana place, but I don't remember all the other ones being awesome or whatever, but yeah, so I mean pretty much you got it like this. It's a little all over the place. I mean they're all tied in strange ways. I just get this feeling that this is the Norgard right here. You know, let me know what you think down below. If you were to play this, the Empire would be harder to play than Norgard, and that's another part of the reason, because Holy Gustafa is only 2 stars and Amana Celestia is 3 stars. So I would say that the Empire is harder to play than Norgard, because the Empire, the Iskar's Empire, was surrounded by almost every country. And this one is still surrounded by a lot of the countries, which Norgard was too. But I just get this whole Norgard feel. If you want to talk about this maybe being like the same as Iskar's Empire, please do. But I kind of feel like this is the new Norgard. So that's my opinion of it. If there's new information or whatever, I will go and talk about it. But I just get this whole Norgard feel right here. Tim's a powerful knight right there. Plus his champion. So seems like this could be like playing Norgard, you know? So I'll leave it at that. Let's move on to the next country here. Let's talk about this. Please let me know your opinions on that. I'd love to hear it. Oops. Let's move on here. Let's talk about this. Alright, Mana Cilicia, Theocracy. Alright, so it starts with 10 total knights, 5 of which are frontline bases. The largest country on the continent. The largest country on the continent with 10 bases that possesses quite a large amount of mana. However, it has 5 frontline bases. 5. What else had 5 frontline bases? Make it the most difficult country to start with among the 6. So I'm just going to point all this out here. Ruler Rudo is a top class combatant. So he's a top class combatant. So he's kind of like, you know, like you consider Vinard or you can consider Zemeckis. He's supported by other strong knights like Paladin Kyle, and there are many frontline bases. You need many defending troops, making it hard to send knights on quests. Figuring out how to attack and defend with sparse forces will test the expert player's competence. This is exactly what Iskar's Empire was. This is exactly how this played. You had a large amount of mana. You were the largest country on the continent. However, 5 frontline bases, exactly like Iskar's. You've got Lydney. I'll draw a little map over here. Hope I get this one a little better than the last one. Let's draw this little map. I'm just drawing a section of the map. So if you're wondering, like, what is it all about? It's just a section. Don't freak out. You can freak out, but please don't. I hope you don't. You know, make things a little easier for me. So kind of like this here. And you got Lydney here. You've got Cadbury Bunny here. You've got Orkney there. Got Eorsa here. Got Old Root or Old Root. Old Road. Got Salisbury, Carnaboon, Torah is here. Dilworth isn't worth anything. Literally, description and the title or the name. Logres there. Thedo here. So this is Iskar's Empire in a very crude drawing. Please, I hope you don't mind. And then Thedo connects to Tora. Tora connects to Logres. I'm gonna draw another little ring around Logres so it's like a little more descriptive. We've got a connection from Logres up to Lydney. Lydney connects to Cadbury. Cadbury connects to Orkney. Orkney connects to Dilworth. Dilworth connects to Tora. Sorry, it's gonna take a while because there's a lot here. Tora connects to Carnaboon. Carnaboon connects to Salisbury. Salisbury connects to Ultrut. Ultrut connects back to Tora. Ultrut also connects to Eorsa. Eorsa finally connects to Orkney. So this is what we have here. The other enemy connecting ports are here. 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 And here. So these are the connecting ports there. The reason that I think Norgard or the Gustava Empire is a little more like Norgard, because this one seems more like Ascaris Empire, because all this stuff here, it just kind of talks about the largest country on a continent, largest amount of mana, 5 front line bases here. What we got? Front line bases. I'm going to circle them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Ascaris Empire also has 5 frontline bases, making the most difficult country to start with. Ascaris Empire is the most difficult country to start playing as, because you have to figure out where to put all your knights, because you're defending against so many ports immediately. Ruler Rudo is a top-class combatant. Zemeckis was almost maxed out with his levels on Class 3. Supported by other strong knights, Ascaris had a lot of strong knights. Paladin Kyle, in a weird, ironic way, Khador was like the strongest. So the Paladin Kyle might be like almost maxed out, whereas Khador was just like a few experience points before being level 30. You need many defending troops. That's very true with Ascaris. Making it hard to send knights on quests is very, very, very true with Ascaris. I could barely quest anybody with Ascaris. I had to take over something, get some landmass going, and, get my position going on the map in order to do stuff. So for this one, if I'm drawing connecting ports here, we've got that, and that. So as far as what they can attack goes, it's they're going this way, they're going that way, going that way, they're going. It looks like they're going that way. Excuse me. So you got a lot of different directions to attack from in here. And I guess you can't do that one on the, maybe that one doesn't work, but you got a lot of different connections. So it just seems like everything that they're describing seems like this could very potentially be like playing as Ascaris Empire from the Legend of Forsena or Grand Edition. I don't know if it really matters so much. The only one that's still a little fuzzy in my mind is the Holy Gustava Empire. But with this one looking so much like the Ascaris Empire, I just kind of have to throw the Norgard aspect towards the Holy Gustava Empire, because it just looks like that, the way they're describing it and all that, as far as this Mana Celestia theocracy goes, and the fact that Ascaris Empire's difficulty is extremely high. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is the Ascaris Empire. This is the new Ascaris Empire of the Legend of Runersia game. So I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm sure some people might contend it, I suppose, maybe, but this really feels like these two are very identical, with castles, with mana, with types of leaders as far as their job class goes, and everything like that. So these are my points. This is the reason I'm validating this, and this is the reason that I'm saying I think this is the way it is. So let me know in the comments below what you think. I hope you enjoy this. Let's move on to the last one here, and we'll wrap this video up here. So, all right. Okay, let's talk about the United Islands of Morelva. Okay, let's go into this. Let's describe this a little bit here. Let me, actually, let me blow up the map a little bit, and we'll get maybe an interesting idea here. Sorry. So we've got 3 different ports to start from, and I'm thinking this is a little bit like Escalio, just because Escalio has like a really difficult time. And the reason I say it's a difficult time is because as soon as you attack Escalio, if you take over 1 or 2 of their castles, it's sort of true for a lot of things, but Escalio attacking out doesn't have a lot of viable options. They have to attack one of the biggest countries immediately here. So Escalio does the same thing too. They get to go and attack another strong country, which was Caerleon. And they get to move out a little bit too. But as far as moving out goes, it's really like they can put up a decent defense, but if they want to push forward, they might have to give up a castle in order to do stuff. They literally, like this country here with Morelva, might have to displace themselves to some degree. They might have to give up a few castles, maybe. They might have to lose some castles in order to send their knights through, maybe, the Republic of Gamol. Maybe take over some of this here. They might have to do something like that. So Escalio had to move out. They can stay there too. But most people move out into a new country with Escalio because the territory is... There's so many battle positions that it just makes it hard to defend everything. And so typically, even when I play, I move over into Caerleon's territory, or I move into Leonia's territory, and I just get a fresh start from there. Morelva has a tough time deciding where to go because she's already fighting one of the biggest territories as it is, making it harder for Morelva, for Stella Hammett to actually take over her country. They have a very difficult chance here. Escalio had a very difficult position too, just because of like where they started. If Escalio moved out one place, they'd have to build up a whole new team of knights and monsters, of which they don't have the opportunity right off the bat to even do that. And so looking at like here, trying to attack the whole empire, the biggest chunk of territory here with Morelva, looks kind of tough. And then one of the other big chunks here, I mean, that's a lot to go for, for this little country here. So, going after any one of these is difficult, and Escalio had pretty much the same difficulty. Going after Caerleon or going after Leoness, they were good opponents for them. They could both balance each other out, but it was kind of tough. So let's go ahead and talk a little more. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this. So the United Islands of Morelva, difficulty 2 stars. Escalio was definitely a 2-star rating as well. So there's difficulty at 2 stars there. Starts with 7 total bases, 3 of which are frontline bases. Morelva's battlefield mainly consists of sea terrain. Enemies must evade one island at a time, or invade one island at a time, making it easier to regroup after being invaded. However, troops can easily get cut off from the main force if you push your way into the mainland too quickly. So this is the same identical thing with Escalio too. As soon as you move out to Salisbury or Hervry or Hadrian or Carnaboon, you had an immediately difficult time trying to hold that position because you don't have the monsters to start with. And it's not a joke, you just don't. You have the knights, not the best of knights, but you have the knights, but you don't have the monsters to do it like that. So let's read a little bit more here. Let's see what's here. This, and we'll get onwards. So I want to. There's just a lot of text I want to talk about here. So I'm going to scroll to here, and we'll just kind of talk about this part. Okay, so what else is here, right? So, consists of sea terrain. So, Escalio is surrounded by the sea. It's not really considered that, but it is surrounded by the sea. Enemies will invade one island at a time. In a way, the way Escalio is drawn here, I'll draw my cool, crude Escalio picture here, which actually has turned out pretty good. Wow, that's actually really good. And Escalio is kind of like Italy in a way. It's kind of like a boot. So you've got Senas here. You've got Aston here. You have Broceliande there. You have Letishnote. Maybe I drew that a little too far south. Then you have Calicent, the capital here. And then way down here at the end, you got Lothian. So how does this work for this, right? Well, this is just a crude drawing, but I'm sure you get it. So you got this connection port here. You got this kind of connection port here. And Escalio goes in a Y. Escalio goes in a Y faction, right? And then you've got a connection port up to here to fight the enemies there and there. Aston can also go that direction. And they can go to Carnaboon, and they can also go over to Hadrian. So those are the connection ports you get there. But as soon as you move out, like you got to start 2 castle defenses right off the bat. Just like, well, Morelva has to start off with 3, right? But as soon as you attack out, you have to defend 3 castles just like Morelva right now, right here. So Morelva might have the ability to do it, but let's read a little bit more here. So Ruler Stella, Viking Guinea, Berserker Adu, and a few other knights are rough lot. This means knights with recovery magic are few and far between. This is exactly like Scalio. Escalio had hardly any healers. They had 2. Most of it was all offensive stuff. It's like all brute force offensive stuff. And I just see a lot of Escalio between these 2 countries here. I think if you're gonna play this game and you're like, what is this like? I'm just gonna go ahead and say, oh crap, man, my grammar's bad. Escalio, there's the C. Oh man, it's been a long day. So there's Escalio there, if I can write correctly today. But Escalio, I should probably just, I wish I could just erase a section here and just redo it. I have to erase the whole thing apparently, but yeah, so it says here too, the main characteristic of this country is knights who specialize in going on the offensive. This is Escalio. Add monsters like unicorns that can cast spells to your platoons to make up for this. This is what I did with Escalio. On Escalio, you go back to Letishnote here, and you get your unicorns. That's where you get unicorns from. It's in Escalio. It's right there. Right there, right on the map, right? The boom, 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 right there. You get unicorns from there, then you can heal up your guys. I know it sounds a little kooky and all that, but either that or you move into Leonia's territory over here, and you get their angels and unicorns from that direction. Or you can come over to Hervery and get angels over there, because Hervery actually does support angels to get it from the castle. So you have to get unicorns, you have to get healers from somewhere. So either you get it from Leschenote down here, right there, or you move out and attack, but it's totally filled with offensive knights. So this, I have to say, this is the new Escalio. I know that, it doesn't look exactly the same because we're looking at islands versus like a peninsula, but in a way, the peninsula is jutted out from the mainland, and it's, more connected with the sea, which these islands are all connected with the sea as well. So just the description and just the way that this seems, I just get this whole Escalio feel. And I don't know. If you think there's something else there, let me know. But I'm pretty sure this is Escalio here. And this has been my fun little rough drawing on all that. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out here. But thanks so much for being here. As far as like where you can attack from and where you can go, you know, I'll make a video of that in the future as far as the strategy videos go. I've done that in the past. I've done that years ago with my other channel. So if anybody's seen it, I did an Escalio one where you can attack from where you go and, you know, what makes sense. So I might go ahead and continue that in the future, but I have to actually get the game and kind of play it to get a sense as to where to go with each country, because everybody will have their different perspective on it, you know, and everybody will, you know, give me their opinion and all that. But yeah, it's that'll be interesting. So if you enjoyed this, please let me know. I had a lot of fun doing this, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. I don't really know what else to say, but this is basically just my perspective as to which country each of these countries connect to, as far as connecting it to the Legend of Forsena game. And I think there's some valid points here as far as that goes. So I've done some Kingdom Cast videos, but this is Kingdom Keep. So the Kingdom Cast videos are about like the storyline characters and kind of like who they seem to be similar to. But this one's Kingdom Keep, so this one's going to be about castles and strategy, grand strategy overall, and what it seems like these countries are connected to and all that. And so with this kind of content here, I'm also going to put up like strategic videos as to like where I think is a good route to go as far as how to attack in the game. And I'll leave that perspective in the future when I get the game and play it. So that's pretty much all I've got. If you want to see me stream it live on Twitch, please follow the descriptions down below. If you want to see some of this on YouTube, you know, please, you know, just continue watching and being a part of it. Give me some comments. Let me know your opinions, and, you know, we'll have a good discussion, and we'll let everybody see the power of Brigandine, and we'll all get to have some fun with this in the future. So that's all I've got. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see some of the other guys down below, go check out their channels. There is a cool other Brigandine producer, Dr. Zanari, that does have a Discord for this too. And so I do host the website for the community website. If you want to go and make some cool threads there and talk about it, you can. And also Frost PDP, if he gets a game, we'll see. But he has his perspective on the new game too, so check out his channel as well. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. I don't know what else to say. You know, let me know what you think about this, and we'll continue from there. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I will talk to you in the next video.
Game over.
It's over when I say it is over.
Answer my call!
Yes, sire!